everyone, Porterhause here, and I'm sure a lot of you have already heard the news. Bethesda announced at E3 that Elder Scrolls 6 is in fact going into production. Now, this is excellent news, and I want to caution everybody not to go overboard with the speculation. Little speculation is fine, but usually when you start having people with different opinions as to various aspects of the game, it starts turning into a screaming match, and it gets pretty horrible. I've already seen that in action. And one of the first things, as far as speculation goes, that I want to talk about is the location. Where is the Elder Scrolls 6 game going to be located? Now, I've heard a lot of things just based on the little trailer with the soundtrack, and the most oft heard opinion or speculation I've heard is that it's going to be in Skyrim again. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I enjoyed the hell out of Skyrim. I still do. I'm still doing mod reviews for it. I absolutely love the game. It's one of my favorites. And I'm probably almost embarrassed to admit that I am pretty close to about 3,000 hours in total into that game since its release. Now, yeah, I do actually have a life. Really, I do. Anyway, now, if they do that, I don't see why they couldn't expand the area. Todd Howard announced at E3 that Fallout 76 would be, I think he said, 4 times larger than Fallout 4 as far as playable game area. So I don't know why they couldn't do that with Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe even just make Skyrim a very small part of it, and then have other countries that you can travel to. They almost kind of hinted at that in Skyrim, because you get to the passes but you couldn't go anywhere. So it'd be interesting to see if they added something so you could travel to different lands, and based on various quests and anything, that kind of thing. That would be really, really awesome. Now, the other thing I'm hearing people speculate on is the release date, and I've already heard a couple very optimistic people like, oh, it's going to be out this fall, and I'm like, no. Unless they've been secretly producing it without telling anybody and they just announced it today, you're probably not going to see it this year. But like I said, I mean, who knows? They could have been, secretly producing this at the same time they were working on Fallout 76, and it may be done this year, but I seriously doubt it. At the earliest is fall of 2019. I would bet on the safe side and say 2020 sometime. Now, the reason for that, I'd rather see Bethesda take their time and do it right. I don't know if anybody remembers, but when Skyrim was first released, it was horribly, horribly glitchy. And they fixed a lot of stuff for that. They patched a lot of stuff. Some of it still didn't get fixed, and it was in fact the modding community that came out with an unofficial patch that fixed a number of issues with the game. So hopefully Bethesda will take a note of that and do their best for quality control. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, will the game be moddable? Now, I don't see, I'm sure you're all thinking, Porter, why would it not be moddable? Well, a couple reasons. One is that I have a friend of mine who handles animations. He does computer animations for a living. And on the side, he was trying to do some Fallout 4 animations. Basically, he was trying to fix some of the run-walk animations for both male and female. He said the walk was pretty good, but he said the male run in particular was odd. And he had seen in one of my videos where I had commented that the male run looked like the guy was pinching an aspirin between his butt cheeks while he was running. So he thought that was humorous, and he thought, well, why not try to fix it? Well, as he was working through that, he found that the skeletal rig for Fallout 4 was pretty difficult to work with. And the more he worked on it, the more he began to wonder if that hadn't been deliberately done. So, not going to go too much into the wide world of speculation on that. But the other thing I was thinking of is Creation Club. Now, Bethesda has been pushing this pretty hard. I have a friend of mine in the Fallout 4 modding community, great guy, and they recently asked him to produce content for the Creation Club. And it was quite a financial boon for him, and so I don't fault him for this, but in exchange he had to pull all of his mods off of the Nexus. Well, maybe not all of them, but let's just say some of the mods that they didn't consider family friendly. Now, I am worried that with Elder Scrolls 6 they might deliberately try to make modding difficult, if not impossible, unless you sign up for their Creation Club and you mod exclusively for them. Now, that is just speculation on my part. I see it as a good business model for them because they get a share of that money, and I'm just afraid that they're going to try to push that one step further. So that's just my thoughts on that. That is just pure speculation. So anyway, that's all I have for this quick bit of news. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to hit that like button, drop me a comment, try to keep it nice, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. And I will see you at the next Porterhouse news video.